I've been here 27 years now. I've been born till this day. I remember when I was small, we normally play cricket in the hot sun, barefooted on the road. These days, I think it's hotter, and so we don't find the boys playing on the streets as we used to. The heat now obviously has increased. It has increased so much that we clearly can see some differences. My name is Jeremy Downer. I live in Sherwood Content. This part is called Coxie. It's a small district. Agriculture keeps Sherwood Content running, and literally as well, because Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, he's my neighbor. He lives just down the street, and he grew on agriculture. His father was very much involved in agriculture, and yam, one of the popular foods that we eat here in Sherwood. The issue of the climate change is affecting yam production, it's affecting banana production, it's affecting cocoa, and all the things that makes persons from Sherwood strong. I've been working with a researcher from the University of the West Indies to combat climate change in the community of Sherwood. We have been talking to the citizens here and asking them how it affected the community of Sherwood, especially the issue of farming.
I've been eating yam all my life and it has been good. I cook yam for most countries, especially since Usain's achievement. I have done a lot of yam cooking, and I told them when them eat it, them will run fast like Usain, so them always want me to cook for them. When I first come to Trelawny in 1967, you would find every day by 12 o'clock rainfall. Say 6 months for the year, lots of water. The river always come up and burst the banks and overflow. That change in our area right now. You don't know when we're gonna get rain or not. The time is just dry and windy, and some of it I think had to do with the cutting of the forest. So, like in the farm now, you can't determine what crop you will get. You just have to take chances. If you don't get the rain in due season, then you lost the crop. These are the most bearing you get.
So then they couldn't eat. You know, you're tiny on there.
I say them couldn't eat, but I mean,
Too slender.
by the time you peel these, not them.
Yeah.
And then it have the disease. See?
Oh.
It have the disease.
Them do any kind of test on it yet to figure out what it is?
Me no know, you know. Me no know.
Because according to the farmers, only the white yam have it.
Yeah, the yellow yam, you know, trouble the yellow yam. And suppose you see how when them come up, them pretty, them come up on the tree, them so pretty. And all of a sudden you just see them start dry leaf and the leaves them turn black.
You know, a farmer had said to me, say, we suspect it happens because of the heat, because the place so hot.
No.
And what they did was they put yellow yam with the white yam. And the yellow yam apparently can fight off the disease, so the white yam
immune to this kind of disease.
I think it's the hurricane that bring it in. The one before, last year we had a storm blower, the year before. Definitely. I hate just coming.
Since then, these things show up.
Yeah,
white
sure.
and-
Sure. If the government can come in and introduce something to the small farmers, especially the small farmers, because the small farmers definitely depend on whatever they plant for a livelihood. I rear chickens. If I don't have food, I can sell the chicken, buy food. So when you create other little things, you will be able to carry on.
We have implemented some ideas and plans that we could do to combat this climate issue. The women from the community of Sherwood, they have been involved in a greenhouse set up. Inside the greenhouse, we have the roads are there to plant the crops intended to be shielded from the rays of the sun. But what happens is that the heat is so intense that when you go there and you look at the soil, it is really dry. Dry so much so that it becomes very brittle. So the issue of irrigation now comes into play. Because of the climate change, irrigation is now wanted more than ever right now in these times. So the farming in the community would really help with running water to combat this fight that the climate is giving us. My father is a farmer. His name is Festus Downer, and he has his farm down in Windsor. He plants coffee, banana, plantain, cocoa, sometimes small crops, for example, callaloo. And he does intercropping. He plants banana between the coffee rows to kind of balance the temperature. For him, during the dry time, we have the situation of water. So sometimes we have to transport water from the river back to the plantation. He also rears cows, and luckily we have river there, so we just lead them down to the river so they take a drink and they come back. In previous time, they usually have this canal where we clean the cows to brush them off and things. Nowadays we use that same canal to irrigate the plants that we have around there. So the water would stay in there when the rain falls, and we use it for irrigation. In dry times like this, for example, that same canal would get dry itself, and so we really have to rely on the river. We can't be there sitting for the rain to fall, because with this kind of heat, it would even literally dry up the plants. Dry time and the increasing heat really require a lot more effort in terms of we getting water to the plantation. We have many persons here for economic purposes, sell coal for a living, and so they too get into the habit of cutting down the trees, which will definitely make the place really hotter. Because in general, I think one of the reasons for climate change is the cutting down of trees, because the tree in general has a lot to do scientifically with the cooling of the earth and the balancing of the atmosphere. What we can probably do is just find some alternative. For example, we have some ladies who weaving. And also we have persons who beekeeping. We could do that as well as an alternative. We also have persons who get themselves involved in chicken rearing. Those are some of the things that we could do to combat the idea of cutting down the trees and using it for coal. We have done programs, we have and still in the process of educating community members on the things that they can do to combat climate change.